And we're live, and look at those headphones, Jake. Man, what a gamer. Got the Xbox green headphones. Living the dream.
Can't help yourself, too.
So it is true, Jake Cherapika is alive.
Well, at first I thought, is that Noah? I was like, is that Noah? No, that's Jake.
We know it's true. You have visual. You got to hold the newspaper like proof of life, Jake, where it has like the date.
Right. The date, the time.
Well, we're here to chat about the news that was announced at U.S. Masters in Omaha that we will be playing the U.S. Masters 2024 in
the Mid-Atlantic region.
In the Mid-Atlantic, yeah.
That's so right. We finally got here.
Yeah.
We're going to be in Washington, D.C. We are super excited to announce that. We went to Omaha this year, went to Seattle the year before that. We're now going to the East Coast, and we're super, super excited. So this is kind of our equivalent of save the date, kind of letting people know with as much notice as possible because things are a little different. Just to kind of hit the highlights, we are going to be in Nova Open next year, which is basically part of a convention. If those that know anything about it, it's a miniature wargaming convention, really specialized on miniature wargaming. Think Adepticon, but not as big. So kind of a medium-sized con that kind of I think is big enough that we'll have a cool presence there. But there's the plus that we're going to have plenty of space and an A-plus kind of venue and all those things. But it is Labor Day weekend, August 31st, 2024. To September 1st, 2024. So Washington, D.C., a lot of other cool details to come, but that's kind of the main highlight for now.
I'm excited about it. I think this is the first time we've held it outside of like a standalone event, and I'm interested to see the benefit that we can get from that because we were talking before, right, that when we held it in Nashville or we hold it in Omaha or Seattle, there's no foot traffic. People are there, they're already part of the faithful. And by having it at a Nova, right? We see it at Adepticon, right? Where we're playing at Adepticon and people walk by and they go, oh, that's a cool looking game. And then we meet folks. I expect the same situation. And then double, even bigger in the sense that we have 100+ players in Nova. That's going to be a spectacle that people are going to notice.
100%. Yeah. So just to make that clear, we are running the best of the rest as well. So we're going to have that. We basically have unlimited space, so expect it to be a pretty big event. We're expecting 100+ for sure, total players between both events. And again, that's something that takes notice, right? Yeah, you don't just walk past 100 people playing a game, rolling dice, it's going, what? You kind of at least a little bit go, wait, what's going on over there, right? You kind of walk over to and check it out, right? And that's something we're very much leaning into. We're going to have demo games available by the side of the game. We are going to have a whole ton of coverage and other stuff. The exposure, I think, is big. I think it's something that we're really counting on, hoping on. It's a perfect venue to really get that exposure just from other players and other people in the community. Again, it's just a really good space to have the venue to do that. It's attached to a hotel. It's in the heart of DC for those that haven't been to DC. This is like, basically a mile from the White House or so. So like you're in the heart of DC, have all the tourist opportunities there. If you want to come there, it is Labor Day weekend. So, we're hoping that make people, getting there a little easier. If you haven't flown to DC, you haven't been to DC, it is very easy to fly to. I tell people like check your plane flights, check your plane tickets. Even like now, you can check it out for just to see what it looks like for this year. There's 3 major airports basically nearby. There's one within 30 minutes, one 45 minutes, one about an hour out. So between those 3 airports, there's a way to get there cheaply and efficiently. And obviously, if you're within driving distance, you can drive as well. That works very well. But one of the also advantages being next to the con is that you get very cheap hotel rates as well, which are available, and that's something that we're taking advantage of as well. I think there's really just a lot of opportunities and pluses to being in this venue. We're super excited. We're working with the people there. They're awesome. They've been running a really good convention. Anyone, if you ever heard of Nova, it's open. It's a really great con. They do things right there. They do a lot of events and stuff there too. So, people take painting classes. I know you guys have been to Nova before. There's a lot of really just cool stuff to check out about the hobby. I don't want to hog all the mic space. Yeah, let someone else talk about it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, just on the hobby side, like Nova's a great event to go to, and for Kings of War players who are thinking about coming, I would heavily encourage you guys. First, we're going to be trying to keep people in the loop as much as possible on the Masters site, so kingsofwarmasters.com. There's also a Facebook page for it. We're going to try to make information available as soon as we can, and put up a lot of reminders, because since this is a larger con, tickets will go on sale further in advance than you're used to having to reserve things from the Masters. The hotel block will open earlier than you're expecting. Yeah, we're going to try to make sure everyone knows what the important dates are, so that you can register, you can hold a room. If it turns out that you didn't qualify, you change your mind, you can still cancel, and that's not a big deal. But the schedule also gets posted, and I would encourage Kings of War players who are interested in hobby to check out next year's schedule as soon as it gets posted. We'll let you guys know. They have some really top-notch hobby classes, painting classes on all kinds of techniques, on airbrushing, on 3D printing. You can go and literally spend the whole weekend just taking classes from like professional painters that they flew in to teach for the weekend. Like the last time I went, I took painting classes from a guy that from Roman Lapat, who they flew in from Germany, and like people would fly to Germany to take his classes, but they flew him here to do it instead. So there's that. There's also the Capital Palette painting contest, which is a display painting contest. That I would also encourage any Kings of War hobbyists who are coming to bring their coolest looking multi-base unit and put it in the diorama competition, man. Because last time I did that, I made first cut with just one of the units from the army I was playing, and I got so many comments from people who looked at it and were like, "Wait, do you actually play with that? Is that an actual playable piece?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, we play Kings of War. That's just what they all look like." So and people were pretty blown away by that idea. So I think um, definitely pay attention to the site to get updates as they come, and like stay on top of things, kind of get ahead of things a little bit, um, and take a look at the other things that the con has to offer. You might want to come in a day or two early, to take advantage of some of the other stuff, or get in on the other contests, or play some of the other games. It's going to be a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like some people, the last Warhammer Fantasy Masters was at a convention, and I think for some people that was good, some it was bad. But I really think in looking at the maturation of the game, Mantic growing as a company, with all the great models coming out now this fall into next year, the game is really starting to grow and evolve. I think it's time, right? It's time to take this game that we love, put it on a platform, let other people see it. We can only grow so much without getting the game out in front of new eyeballs. So I don't know. Is that something in your mind? I really think it's time for us to try to really get this game that we love in front of more people.
Yeah, I think I sort of compare this to in my local scene. We have a lot of really good players who really like to play in their houses because it's more convenient. Mike Zettelmeyer, amazing player, amazing painter. He does a lot of his games in his house at other people's houses, and I think a lot of us are like that in Kings of War, because most of us have like our gaming groups and we're playing with our gaming groups, and maybe occasionally like rope someone in at like a one day or something, right? So I think this is the equivalent of noticing that on a larger scale and really trying to push the envelope in a different direction, because locally I've been thinking, if we're not playing at game stores, how do we recruit players, right? And so if we can get our biggest and best event in a more public arena, we can, hopefully get not only more people thinking about the game, talking about the game, but then also pull in some more interest. And I think Nova's a great one to go to, because even though Nova has established events that have been going for a very long time, I think the gamers in Nova are playing a wider variety of events. I know there's a lot of niche games that have very large events, which means it's not just a dominated by GW sort of convention, which is, I know, some of the fear that people have going into these larger events, that, we're just going to be footing the bill for a 40K event and shunt it off to the side. And that's not what Nova does with this other event, so it's not going to do that with us either.
Yeah, I think when I look at like communities, and I guess I've been in a few different games. I think most of us have. I think the Kings of War community to me is the best part. We have a super fun crowd. Like it's like you go to tournaments, you have a ton of fun. So that's what I like to share with people. Right? I'm like, I tell people come to tournaments, check it out. See people having fun. I mean, I know We have Atlantic City Open is an event in our region as well, which is kind of the same environment. And we ran it the first year, and the same thing. A lot of people came by, they noticed like, oh, and they started playing the game. It was like one of those things that like, oh, hey, gamers kind of maybe they recognize people that they haven't seen in a while, or they just say, hey, oh, there's people having fun. They're rolling a bucket of dice. What are they doing, right? Like that sounds fun and it looks fun. And so that's kind of what we want to showcase. I want to showcase the community to me because it is to me the best community that I've ever been in as far as wargaming. I really want to show that off to the greater gaming community.
I was going to say too.
Sorry, go ahead,
sorry, Jeremy.
No, go
one
for it.
thing too that I think like a convention offers that sometimes we've struggled a little bit with different venues is that like it provides space for people hanging out before and after the event in a really interesting way, because we won't have the game hall closing in the same way. I mean, obviously the conventions will still have times that like game halls close and whatnot, but that is going to be more widely available longer, I think, than some of the previous venues we've been hosted at. So people want a board game or just free game or try other stuff. I think there's going to be a wider availability of that than maybe some of the events I've been to in the past, both Masters and regular GTs.
Yeah, and I think one of the key, no matter how you schedule a Masters right, it's never going to work for everyone. That's just a nature of the beast. Often Masters players, some people want it in February, some people want it in this. Some weekends a really important holiday to one group, some weekends a really important holiday to another group. And in knowing that, I think the Masters Council wanted to try to get in this habit of announcing when next year's Masters is going to be at this year's Masters, so that Bob's your uncle, you have a full year to plan. You can go to as many thrift fairs and antique shows as your wife desires. Build up those brownie points or whatever you need, so that you can schedule that out. So that's going to be something that's going to be continuing. So when you guys are, all of you, which I know are all going to go to the Masters, either at Best of the Rest, we will be announcing details on the 2025 Masters at 2024 Masters to everyone on site. And there's 2 regions who haven't hosted Masters yet, Mid-Atlantic and the West. So maybe you can figure out where Masters might be held in 2025, get the suntan lotion and your flip-flops ready. But I think that's important, guys, because if you have a whole year to plan, right, you can get your army together, you can play test, you can look at plane tickets, follow the prices, and wait for that week that's the super good sale. You can really get psyched up.
Yes, Nova knows they're getting 100 plus. I mean, this is a con that has a few thousand people. Like, it's a sizable event. It's not quite Adepticon sized, and I think that actually is a thing to our favor. Is that like Adepticon is so big, people can kind of get lost and swallowed up. Nova is large, but not so large that people can't wander through and see everything that's going on. And I know the Nova people are really excited to have us. They actually announced that we were going to be there next year before we'd said anything. Like, they put it in their very next newsletter that they sent out. So yeah, no, they know we're coming, and our 100 plus, sweaty, mentally exhausted Kings of War players are going to have a great time with, the probably several hundred 40K players and 100 or so Lord of the Rings players and 100 or so X-Wing players or Legion players or Marvel Crisis Crisis Protocol or whatever they got going on. It's it's one of those. There's a dozen different games going on, and there's a sizable number of people there for all of the games. So yeah, like size of our event won't really matter. They're looking forward to having us.
Now, one thing Omaha did good, I think, from what I heard, I wasn't there, but shameless plug, go watch Matt Carmack's stream if you haven't yet. A bunch of great games. But I think one thing that Omaha did well is they had sort of like a team, right? A team running the event. You had people helping people get rides. You had the guys running the tournament. Is that sort of your thinking too? Are you guys going to sort of have a couple people sort of running it? Or maybe Alex, can you speak to a little bit about that on what sort of your big picture plan is?
Absolutely, yeah. So we have a team of TOs. I'm going to be TOing. We have Rob Allison from Nerdhammer, who runs Nerdhammer GT. He's been doing it for, I think, even before Kings of War. He's been running that GT at least 7 years. Super experienced. We have Mike Gill, who's out of he ran the Atlantic City Open. He's been running multiple GTs, and I know he's run War Machine GTs and tournaments for years as well. So we have a really experienced team. There's 4 other GTs, TOs behind the scenes as well. Mike Atkins will be doing some of the media coordination, so he's going to be in charge of the stream and kind of the coverage and updates, making sure everyone kind of gets those things. So we have a lot of dedicated roles. really like an army of TOs just helping to run everything. So we're planning to throw as many bodies as we can into this to make sure that it works very smoothly, and that's our plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great idea, is having the team to support, because Masters is a huge event, right? And it's a thing that a lot of people spend a lot of time working hard. So I think there's a sort of an unspoken agreement, right? You want to provide the players with the Masters experience. This is something they worked all year to qualify for. It can be in the thousands of dollars to go, right? So I think that that's kind of like a trust you carry, right? That you want to make sure the people who come to Masters that you're hosting have that sort of top tier experience.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to run the best quality event possible. And I've been saying that since the get-go. That's part of what led to the decision and how we ended up here, is like, how do we run the highest quality event possible? And then like that kind of question kind of led to here. And that's how we're at here. So that's really going to be our priority. I'm a little sad because it's the first Masters I'm not going to actually play in since we started doing Kings of War Masters. So that's sad, but I'm even more sad because I get to sit back and make sure everyone else has fun and has a good time. So I'm excited to do that.
I wanted to chime in too and say that like the Mid-Atlantic discussions about like our organization and who's chipping in are also sort of broadening beyond just like who's TOing and who's rules judging. And like we've talked about like, you know, paint judging, who's going to try to cover, you know, the different coverage for like Dash 28 feeds and stuff like that. You know, there's been talk about just like general extra bodies to just be there to like do all the little things that these events have pop up, you know. So we have like a group chat that's been blowing up with just a lot of people saying, what do we think we need? Let's figure out the division. So we have like our big brain people who are running the events, but there's going to be plenty of minions, myself included, in there, who I think are going to be doing the side things that hopefully people will appreciate. Yeah,
because you don't know what you don't know, right? So sometimes things don't come up until the day of. So it's good to have sort of like a Johnny on the spot.
It takes a village.
It takes a village, yeah. So I know, Mike, maybe you can speak to, I know you guys mentioned it before, but I imagine you guys kind of looking at this from all angles. Are we going to see some maybe content on Dash 28 maybe as we get, you know, closer into next year?
So as Alex said, I'm going to handle a lot of the media and outreach for the event, partially because it just makes sense, because I would be doing a lot of that for Dash 28 anyway. So to just have me kind of doing the job that I was going to do anyway, just as the official person to do it, makes good sense. We like I can tell you guys that interest in Masters content on Dash 28 is very high. Anything that we've published Masters related over the last few years, whether it's just news updates during the event, or speculation before the event, or any sort of data analysis after the event, always draws a really big audience. So yeah, it's one of our little bumps, you know, in the graph every year that we can look back on and be like, what was that? Oh, that's all the Masters articles that we published there. So yeah, no, definitely expect to see the usual suite of articles and coverage on Dash 28, and that's likely where the live streams will be. And also, in case we decide to change any of that, kingsofwarmasters.com is the best place. Is going to be the best place to go to get like definitive information on the event itself, on the logistics, get any questions answered. Again, this is the first time that we're doing Masters at a separate con, so they have their own registration processes and things like that. So like, definitely for analysis or speculation or news type content, check out Dash 28. If you're looking to come to the event and you want to know important stuff about that, you go to kingsofwarmasters.com. And if you don't know like where we're going to stream things, where the schedule is going to be, kingsofwarmasters.com might just say go watch Dash 28. We'll see how it shakes out when we get there.
Awesome. So Jake, everyone's missed you so much. The boys are attempting to learn how to edit podcasts in your absence over at Unplugged Radio. No, I'm just kidding. They're doing a great job. But I have heard through the grapevine that you are still playing Kings of War. Is this true?
Yeah, it's true. I'm still playing Kings of War. I've really been trying to push like the time I was spending into content creating into like local kind of stuff. We've got a really active club going now in the Baltimore area that was originally just myself and two other people, and we sort of pulled in a couple of other smaller clubs, and now we have about half a dozen to 16 active players, including my brother who I roped in. So I've really been putting energy into that. And I'm back behind the scenes in Dash 28 as the head editor now.
Yeah. As Mike
So
said,
good.
thank
So
you.
happy Jake is back.
The sweet heavens, you have returned.
You all can thank Mike Rossi for chatting with me at Orktown. I don't think he was purposely pushing me towards it, but we were chatting about content creating and like the site and stuff we would love to see happen with like a broader spectrum. And I was like, oh snap, I think I could do this again. And it was like getting all those like juices firing and like the synapses were connecting. And I was like, Mike, can I come back? And he's like, yes. But
Yeah,
I am still playing Kings, yes. Not well, but
you
I'm
needed
playing
that little
it.
break. You needed that little break to recuperate, recharge.
Yeah.
I know the community has missed you, so I think everyone is excited to have you. Don't call it a comeback because you've been
Well,
here for
to be
years,
fair, he brought
but-
his doppelganger, so Noah's kind of filled in for him, right? In his
Yep,
absence.
yep. Now I can swap in and out, and no one will just know the difference, right? And he's using my army, so there's no way to tell.
Oh wow, that's a real doozy. Yeah. Well, I mean, Aaron Chapman could sleep well at night for a few years, but now that he knows you're coming back, he's gonna wake up in the middle of the night as a sweaty mess
And a cold
But,
sweat.
in a cold sweat. Well, Rob, I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm psyched. I'm pretty excited.
Super pumped. Yeah, I haven't been to Washington D.C., so it'll be awesome. It'll be an awesome time, and I'm just glad to give us an opportunity to get some exposure to out. It's the same thing that happens at Adepticon every year, but not quite as good, maybe because we're up in this room with smaller game systems, and there's no through traffic even there. But like
Right.
at Nova, we will get people, we will get foot traffic seeing us, and I think the game sells itself, right? When people walk by,
I think so.
and they're probably used to other games where people are yelling at each other, throwing dice, throwing fits, and we don't have any of that. We did have somebody said mentally exhausted. Nah, I mean, most people are in that room in Omaha. It was so quiet. It was like they're just there to play, have a good time, and challenge each other on the table, and it was very professional.
Yeah, and we need to have a plan for that too, because while we know the game sells itself and the community sells itself, everybody can't walk through and we can't have dozens of people coming up and asking people questions at tables while they're playing their Masters games and they're having to pause.
We almost need to have like a demo table, Mike.
Yeah.
We need to have like a demo table. We need to have some stuff printed up so that when people wander through, we got something to put in their hands with like a QR code on it to be like, hey, if you want to learn more, scan that. It'll take you to Countercharge and Dash 28, and it'll take you to the live stream for the weekend. It'll take you to where the live updates for this events are going. Did you know that this was a national championship? If you want to follow along, here's how you can. Oh, and by the way, in like 3 weeks, we're going to have a one-day learn to play event at Huzzah Hobbies out in Ashburn or whatever. Like
You need some
here's things
some
for that.
shirts that say "Ask me about Kings of War," right?
Right,
And
right, right,
have a couple people wearing those. Yeah.
That's
What's all this
fantastic.
then? Ask me. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, does Nova have like a vendor? Does it have vendors come to kind of
It has a few.
a couple? Okay, so that's always fun. That's another fun thing about going to Rob and I talk about it at Adepticon a lot, right? Going and finding cool little stuff and knickknacks or whatever are stuff you've never seen before.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the things you should definitely everyone should try to check out the main vendor hall and all this stuff. And it's always cool to see what's out there, right? I think that's always get inspiration, if nothing else.
Yep.
It might be an opportunity to get Mantic there. I don't know if Mantic's been there in the past at Nova, but I mean, if we're there, there's no reason why Pat can't bring the
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I mean
van.
that'd be a good idea. Tell Mantic you want them there. Be the change you want to see in the world. So get on posting telling Mantic that they need to be at Nova.
And Kyle Prezelinski has no excuse. He's not that far from
That's
DC.
right.
Mhm.
Come on.
That far.
He made it all the way to Omaha. That's a lot farther than DC.
Yeah. Felix will pick him up and drive him. Okay, we all know
That's
this.
a true
That's true.
statement.
We know this.
That's
He
100%
has-
true.
Yeah, plenty of guys will come and get him, so he just has to sit there, look pretty, get the head shaved, the beard ready, and then he'll be good to go.
So, Alex, what are you most excited about?
Yeah, I'm just excited to have just a big event, big room with a lot of people playing Kings of War. I mean, I'm excited getting that TO experience and to kind of let people have fun. I mean, I think it's going to be a smooth event, like people having fun, everything coordinated, everything ready to go. That's my perfect tournament, is everything going smooth.
Well, I think you've done a good job of leaning into people's core competency, right? So you've got Mike with Dash 28 and the live stream. He's done it for years. You're I mean, you're a rules judge. You're built like a rules judge, right?
Basically, yeah, exactly.
And then you've got Marcelo and you've got Chris.
Yes.
You've got other TOs from the area, and Rob. I think you also mentioned,
Yep,
right?
Yep. Exactly.
So you know, you've got 3 very experienced TOs that are going to help run this thing.
Yes.
So you know, I mean, that's the thing. I think the takeaway, we've done what number are we on? We're on
7.
this is
I
number
think.
7, right? So
Yep.
we've done 6 of these, and every year we learn something from it. But the other thing that happens is every year they get harder, right? So when New York did it, they're like, hey, we're going to do a best of the rest. Great. Here's another 40 players that you didn't have to have tables for. Every year the ante gets upped. And so, you know, we're expecting the next, you know, this one in Nova to be better than the previous 6.
Yeah,
Right?
we're hoping to deliver on that. We absolutely think we can deliver on that. So that's kind of we're hoping. We're going to have the hangout. We're going to have the space. We're going to have the games. We're going to have, you know, everything that people want. So
Yeah,
you know.
and Nova usually has their own like concierge, like hospitality suite set up. So like we don't have to prepare that. You know, we can if we want set up our own. But there's also just the convention wide one that people can go to if they want to hang out, and our space. Yeah.
Well, leave it to the lawyer to correct us, because technically, even though we've had 6 regions hosted, but actually, Texas hosted 2 of them. So you're right. This would be number 8.
This is
I'm
number
still
8.
waiting for my picture of Keith crying after you beat him. Just FYI, community, you're still entitled to free countercharge swag if you get me that picture. So I still have a bounty on his tears.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a lot more details to come. So I want to make that clear. Like, this is really like
This is a save the date, right?
Yeah, it's a save the date. You're a
Save the
year
date.
plus out. You know, plan accordingly.
Well, I think too, because
you
it's moved basically back a month from when we traditionally hold it.
Right.
It's important for the region reps to know this so they can
Yes.
plan accordingly, right? Because they may want to change their
season.
Their
Yeah.
season.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
absolutely. Yeah, if your season might change, if you have a tournament around these days, you might have to play with that. I mean, there's things that we're trying to give people as much warning and advance notice to do what they need to do to kind of prepare appropriately.
And if you've never gone to the Masters or Best of the Rest, you know, this could be a great opportunity. On the Kings of War Masters website, you can get a link to your region chair. It will let you know sort of, you know, what region am I in? If you don't even know, go to that website. You can find out. You can email your region rep and they'll let you know how do you qualify, what the whole shindig is. And really the Masters, since we've added Best of the Rest, Masters weekend is, I think, becoming everything for everyone. It doesn't matter where you are at the game level. If you want to feel the grandeur and scope of the game and you want to take part in Masters weekend, anyone can do it, right? You don't qualify, come to Best of the Rest. It really is our Super Bowl weekend. And so if you haven't taken part in it, man, once you do, there's nothing else like Masters weekend.
Can we just talk about the fact that Mike Rossi gave away Pennsylvania? I still can't believe that. Jake, you're such a sly dog.
My golden dealing, right?
Unbelievable.
Rossi
Yeah,
spent quite a bit of time during like the months after COVID telling me, you know, I spent all this. We trade you PA so that we could have the Canadian players. And now they can't even come into the country. What the hell, man? I'm like,
Absolutely. But you're right, Jeremy. We have this great website that's been set up. It goes through and it shows you which region you're in, and there's a way to contact, you know, your chairs and stuff. So definitely make use of the tools that are available.
And also a great website for just tournament, basic competitive Kings of War scene. All the rankings are always up there. Mike's done a really great job on getting that sort of a hub, organized play hub for Kings.
And there's the calendar there of upcoming events. If you're a TO and you run a qualifying event, go check it out. There's a way to submit your event to the calendar. And if you're a Kings of War player looking for events near you, you can go in and check out the calendar. You can see just the ones in your region close to you, and find some fun ways to get involved. Because, you know, after you email your regional rep to say how can I qualify, how can I get involved, he's probably going to tell you to come to the next tournament. So that's how you find where your next tournament is as well.
I am curious, Alex. I know Keith has been to all of them. You've been to all of them. Adam Ballard, I believe, has been. So I wonder what the list. Rossi, okay.
Rossi and Corey, I think, both been to.
I think
Corey missed this recent one.
I meant Corey Wallitzer.
Oh, Corey Walzer. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
We need to get a list. Jake,
Yeah,
you should take that on as a Dash 28 article.
This is a Dash 28 article. Yeah.
The folks that have been to every single one. I mean, we started in 2017, so we've been at this for a while. You know,
I wanted
The
to say-
usual suspects. We can line them up like the mugshot.
That'd
exactly.
be a fun T-shirt. Sell that as like a Dash 28 shirt right there.
The only problem is that you'll have all these guys up here, and then you'll have Mike down here.
Yeah, I can't Russ already. He's an average at every tournament.
I
saw
still
a
want to
question
see.
about-
Sorry, go ahead.
I said I was going to say I saw a question about attending from like the UK, and I wanted to say that definitely like Best of the Rest is open to everyone world round. We had someone from Norway come to the New York Best of the Rest. Fred came over, which was
Fred
amazing.
did come to that.
Yeah.
I had forgot about that. That was
So
And
cool.
hopefully, this is enough of an advance notice that people can plan for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and DC is a super easy city to fly to internationally. Dulles Airport, you can fly directly to. Also, Reagan National, you can fly directly to. The metro line goes from both of those airports. It's like a 20-minute metro ride from Reagan, and I think like a 45-minute metro ride from Dulles. And those take you to like the DuPont Circle metro stop, and then the hotel is like 3 or 4 blocks. I said it was about a 10-minute walk away. So if you're flying internationally or just flying in general, you should be able to easily get to the hotel just taking the metro, and a short walk if you don't want to have to rent a car or call an Uber or anything like that.
Yeah, one of the few cities in the U.S., right, that you actually can look at a metro as like an option for getting somewhere, right? Like, especially from an airport.
And I'll also add, if you're close enough that you could drive, but the idea of driving either up or down 95 chills you to your very soul, which it should. You can also take the train. Amtrak will also get you to DC, and then the metro will also get you to the hotel. And you can just wave out the train window at the miles and miles of cars sitting still on the interstate as you whiz by them.
Yeah, if you can train's a great option. Honestly, like you get to Richmond Union Station, it's good to go. So yeah, highly recommend that.
Yeah, download a retro game, play it on the way there, talk to Rob about it. You'll be his best friend by the end of the weekend.
Yeah. You need to have like
100%.
an ink pen with like a feather, and you can compose like some correspondence to do some pen paling while you're on the train. Very
Absolutely.
romantic journey.
Yeah, I'm excited. It should be great to see this pageantry to Kings of War.
Yeah, and like Alex,
and the Mac Cup Gaming.
yeah, and like Alex said, this is very much just the amuse-bouche. We're giving you the appetizer. Much more to come about the Mid-Atlantic Masters. Rob, I'm assuming we'll do a lot of coverage on Countercharge with the actual TO people once we get closer. We'll probably do an episode with Mike once he has all the live stream, all that stuff set to get everyone primed for that. So we just wanted to get this in your guys' heads. Like Alex said, save the date. Get all your planning. Let's make this. Let's let Steve Hildrew have the biggest Kings of War tournament for just a little bit. We'll give him a couple of months, right? Well, let him just be okay. So let's break between Masters and Best of the Rest next year. Let's just hit it out of the park.
Sounds good to me. But
Well,
yeah,
awesome,
thanks
guys.
for coming to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. And once things, once we have a few more details, we'll get you guys back on, and we'll have people on chat about the paint scoring. And I mean, for those little inside baseball, there's a lot of work to be done by the Masters Council behind the scenes for some of that stuff. But the good news is that now we have our flag planted in the ground. That's one hurdle done. So now we can move on to the next hurdle.
Exactly.
And the next hurdle, and the next hurdle, and hopefully you're around. You're around for the ride. And I feel bad for the Mid-Atlantic guys though, because normally, like if you're going to Seattle and you're going to Dallas, it's like people are like, oh, I can't go. It's so far. It's in your backyard. So those are going to be some coveted spots. And Joe Ragozzi's probably not going to make the team.
You never know.
That's my guess.
That's fine.
That's my guess.
And Rob, it's a region that's been growing, right? Like Mike mentioned, the Atlantic City Open, the Nerdhammer guys, all up and down the East Coast, right? You guys have been having.
I do want to ask though, the
nice
aristocrats here, are you guys ever going to get beat out Nerdhammer? Because I mean, they've got like A, B team, C team. They've like grown to this huge thing.
There are 10 of us going to Mountaineer.
So you're going to be the best club there. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing. We won.
Clone Alex? Where'd you get 10 from?
Don't worry about it.
Alex has a farm team that he's ready to try out. There were technically only 2 of us at the Atlantic City Open, and we got a Merc from the Northeast, and we still won the Cornwall Cup. Okay,
Nice.
That's right. Yeah. That's right,
Which-
Rob.
which is another thing that we will have to decide. I'm guessing
Come on,
that
Rob.
the Cornwell Cup will be up for grabs for the club that has the most people with the highest scores in best of the rest, or are we going to count across Masters and best of the rest?
I don't know.
for
That's a
that.
fun conversation.
Hey, that's your guys' cup. Yeah, I mean, it's your guys'
we'll
cup.
see,
You
yeah,
do what you
exactly.
want, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if people are familiar with that, but we have a cup, a Jesse Cornwell Memorial Cup. May he rest in peace. And it's up for grabs at every Mid Atlantic tournament. Every Mid Atlantic club that has at least 3 people at the tournament can compete. You add up the battle scores of the top 3 people, and in each club, and whichever club gets the most gets to take the cup home. And keeps it and then brings it to the next tournament. And it's a full size like Stanley Cup style cup. And we print up little nameplates with the name of the club and the year and the event, and we stick them on there. And we've just been adding them. We're up to I think we're about to start maybe the 4th row across the front, and then next year we'll start wrapping them around the backside, and then I guess we're going to add another layer to the bottom, so long as we can not lose the thing or break it or whatever.
Right.
And it's become a great motivator for people to come to tournaments. And kind of we talk about Crossroads a lot being a great event because it's got like the team thing where even if you're not doing well, maybe your team's doing well, you need to keep playing through all the games because your team is still in it. It kind of adds a lot of motivation for people. It's like, I can't let the club down, even though I'm having a bad day and it's the last round. If I get one win here, that might bump us up enough to take the cup home. So it's just a fun way to get people to practice with their clubs and encourage their club mates to come. Try to talk each other up and keep each other in it all weekend, regardless how they're individually doing. It's great fun. I highly recommend every region think of something like that to do. It's a huge motivator, and it just totally shapes the narrative of the competitive season and every event. It's who's going to take home the cup is the thing that we're all there to find out.
Now, a lot of
And
times
Alex-
I care more about the cup than my own personal score.
Yeah, totally.
Tournaments.
Don't care who wins. We want the
Yeah.
cup. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm thinking too with a place like Nova, it might be good to have some firefight, right?
We will definitely have Firefly. Yeah, I should
Okay,
announce that. We're gonna have
that's
Friday
something
night.
I forgot to ask earlier.
Ooh, that just got me excited.
Yeah, Marcelo's gonna TO that Friday night. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's already said. I should have mentioned that yet.
God, I'm psyched.
Awesome. Well, guys,
Can I
thanks for
can I
coming
come now and just stay at your house, Mike, and just hang out for a little
Absolutely.
bit? And I'll just be there, for
Fine,
all the
early.
Mid-Atlantic.
Fine.
God, I wish I could retire. That would be awesome, Robin. Just fly and go be like,
Me
I'm
too.
just going to go to
Me
the
too.
Mid-Atlantic tournaments.
I have a
this summer.
14-year-old. I can't retire. I got to pay for.
I'm going to
stuff.
spend the fall in the Southeast going to tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good
that's
time.
awesome.
That's the life, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guys, thanks
thanks,
for coming
fellas.
on. Yeah, and Jake, nice to see you again. I missed you. We haven't seen you in quite a long time. So, your doppelganger's done you proud though.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I don't know. I've been lurking. I never really fully disappeared, but I think I disappeared out of the wider than mid.
Well, we wouldn't know from Unplugged because you guys didn't edit before you were there. So it's like nothing's changed, right?
The episodes are less regular now, though.
They are.
Yeah.
Whose fault is that? Let's be honest. Is
It's
it
mine
Mike's?
for leaving. There's no one to
I
crack the whip.
see. You were the guy. You were the taskmaster.
I was the guy saying we're recording tonight. Who can make it? That's the one recording.
They are like special snowflakes now, though. They're beautiful in their own way. Each episode that drops, you
Mhm.
never quite know when you're going to get one, but
Yep.
you enjoy it for what it is. And,
I think they just dropped one 2 days ago because I'm still in the chat and I saw 4 updates on editing. It dropped. Greg just had a baby a couple months ago, so that's definitely impacting because he's been doing the editing. So that's been impacting his editing quite a bit. And John's
I give
been,
them a hard time, but they've been doing a great job.
yeah.
Really,
And John's been
still-
in Germany for I don't know, the whole summer. It feels like so.
Still great episodes, though.
Yeah, I like
absolutely.
them. It's nice to be able to listen rather than edit.
I know the feeling. I knew the feeling. Jake. And shout out to Luke Frazier for winning Masters with the Trident rounds. No
Right.
one. I don't. You can tell me you thought you saw it coming. No one saw it
Mhm.
coming. He didn't see it coming, right? Because if you haven't listened to the episode Sunday, he will tell you on Sunday morning that he was as surprised as anybody. Having gone 55th, 61st, whatever he finished last year, and then go to first the next year.
That's amazing.
But what's amazing about it, I think, is the fact that he dedicated himself to getting better and playing on UB and just practicing. And he knows his Army better than anybody, and it paid off. And so you've got a year now.
And it's the great
more
thing
than a
about
year.
it's the great thing about Kings, right? Anyone can win. right? It's a game that is about what you do on the table, and it's not all about the list you make or the gotchas that you concoct. It's about how you play on the table.
Absolutely. Well said. Well, guys, thanks for coming on. We'll do this again real soon. Maybe next time we'll have Marcelo and the other TOs join us.
Definitely.
But we'll do it once we get some more details that are juicy.
Looking forward.
Jeremy, you want to take us out?
Remember, always keep counter charging.